Lately, this has been my absolute favorite handheld console for retro gaming, the Trimui Brick. Yeah, I actually use it more often than my other favorite, the R36S, mostly because of its compact size, incredible build quality, and stunning screen. I still use the R36S a lot for testing new firmware and features, and I always share my impressions with you. But when it comes to pure retro gaming, I definitely prefer the Trimui Brick. It feels more premium, with a great high-density display, a nice matte plastic shell, and a metallic backplate. Of course, it's also more expensive, and recently Trimui released an updated version called the Trimui Brick Hammer, which comes in a full metal body. Now that's one I really want to get my hands on soon. Over time, I've tested several firmwares for the brick besides the stock one, and each has its own pros and cons. In this video, I'll briefly share my thoughts and impressions of the ones I've tried, and explain which one I ended up choosing.
Stock firmware.
I used the stock firmware for quite a while. It's very balanced and supports a large number of systems. It also includes enough settings to make your gameplay comfortable without getting lost in menus. The stock firmware supports Portmaster, which is awesome and really expands your game library. I did not modify it much, I just updated to the latest version and also updated the drastic emulator for NDS games, so they take up the full screen and allow quick switching between screens. What bothered me though were issues with shader saves. Sometimes shaders wouldn't save properly after quitting a game, and I had to reapply them each time. I tried different SD cards and even reinstalled the firmware, but no luck, so I decided to explore other options.
KNULLI.
This is a great firmware that supports a large number of consoles, including the Trimui Brick. The firmware has a lot of settings, so many in fact that in my opinion, it's actually the biggest drawback for the system. To make the gameplay comfortable, you have to spend too much time figuring out and adjusting the settings. At some point, I got tired of doing that and move on to test the next firmware. On the positive side, it supports many of the main retro systems, including Portmaster, and this firmware, you can easily transfer files over Wi-Fi without using any additional software, although unfortunately I did not have a chance to try this feature myself. It also includes a built-in option to download cover art and game descriptions, which makes the system look much nicer and more user-friendly. But despite all these advantages, I decided not to stick with it.
MinUI.
I tested this minimalist firmware about 6 months ago and even made a post about it on my Telegram channel, the links in the description box. At that time, it still felt a bit rough, so I decided not to keep using it. That said, it's under active development and keeps getting better. Some people will probably appreciate its ultra-minimal approach, and to be fair, its simplicity gives it a unique and appealing look. And before we continue, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. It's super important for promoting both the video and the channel. The more likes, views and subscribers we get, the more videos I'll be able to make and share with you, and the more fun and interesting the content will become. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon so you won't miss any new videos. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can hit the hype button. It helps push the video to new audiences and brings even more people into our community. Thanks a ton for your support. Let's continue.
MustardOS.
This was the final firmware I tested on the Trimui Brick, and it's the one I currently using. In my opinion, it's the most comfortable and well-balanced option of this console. Everything important works right out of the box, and while there are plenty of settings to customize, they aren't so many that it becomes overwhelming. That's exactly what I liked about it. It took me maybe 30 minutes to set everything up, including downloading and trying out different themes. There's even a minimalistic theme similar to MinUI, but with nicer, well-designed icons. With this firmware, the console runs smoothly and performs really well. The interface is clean and pleasant, and there is an interesting feature: you're not restricted to specific folders for your games. You can create any folder with any name, drop your games in there, and the system will recognize them automatically. For me, MuOS is currently the most convenient, stable and enjoyable firmware for the Trimui Brick. If you're thinking about which firmware to try, this is the one I recommend. Here are a few things I really like about it. First, shaders save properly for both games and cores. Second, games resume right from where you left off. Super convenient. Third, the firmware's official website is excellent with tons of detailed info. And best of all, there is a complete hotkey reference table, very useful for everyday use. Honestly, I don't need much more than that. My games should look how I like, resume from saves, and the interface should be simple and intuitive. MuOS gives me all of that. Huge thanks to the developers and everyone contributing to this awesome project. By the way, I've shared the full list of all these firmwares with links to their official pages on my Telegram channel. You'll find the link to this post in the description box. To install MuOS, you'll need to format your SD card, then download and extract the latest version. You'll see an IMG file, that's the firmware image. I usually use a free app called Balina Etcher to flash it. It's not always recommended, but personally it's never failed me. Once the flashing process is done, insert the SD card in your console and watch the installation process. At the end, you can even thank the developers by donating to support their work. All system settings can be adjusted from the settings panel, including choosing your preferred theme. If you connect to Wi-Fi, you can even download additional themes directly. To wrap things up, finding the perfect firmware is always a personal and sometimes tricky process. Trimui Brick has really grown on me and become my go-to pocket console, the one I always carry with me. So naturally, I wanted it to be perfect not just on the outside, but also in terms of its software, stable, convenient and trouble-free. That's why MuOS is my choice, and I can confidently recommend it to you as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I wish you pleasant nostalgia and successful completion of your favorite games.